Joining us now to discuss the bills to extend the statute of limitations for civil lawsuits and criminal sex abuse cases in Michigan is one of the authors, State Senator Kevin Hertel, who represents the St. Clair Shores area in the Detroit suburbs. Thank you for taking the time, sir.
Well, thank you for covering this story, Brian.
Yeah, obviously important to an awful lot of people, and there have been too many high-profile cases, frankly, from Dr. Larry Nassar at Michigan State and Dr. Robert Anderson at the University of Michigan, the pedophile priest crisis in the Catholic Church, and the Boy Scouts of America even. Was that the motivation behind these bills, to hold those institutions accountable after the fact?
Well, there's part of that, right? We all know those really high-profile stories of individuals who have been the victims of sexual assault and cannot seek justice under our current statute of limitations here in the state of Michigan. But there's also, cases that don't make the headline news or the national news of situations that have occurred here in the state that also impact individuals. And we've heard those stories from survivors as well. And so we want to hold anybody who has perpetrated these heinous acts against individuals here accountable. And if the organizations are liable, then they should be held accountable as well.
So these bills, it's kind of a three-bill package, would extend the current 3-year statute of limitations to 10 years after the crime or the survivor turning age 42. That basically doubles the age from the current 21, correct?
That's correct. And what we've seen is many people do not qualify under the current statute of limitations simply because they didn't come forward soon enough. And the data shows very clearly that individuals who are victims of sexual assault, they compartmentalize it, or they don't feel comfortable coming forward for many different reasons, whether that's retribution from somebody involved, whether it's fear of losing a job, fear of damaging a relationship or a family situation. And so all of those issues, while are understandable, we want to make sure that somebody has the time to be able to come forward in a time frame that's comfortable for them. And the data is very clear that it's later in life a lot of times that individuals, especially when they're abused as a child, have that ability to come forward, seek justice. And our belief is they should have access to that justice. And currently under state law, they do not.
And this isn't about criminal cases. This is about civil cases. But there's also a provision for allowing those civil lawsuits 7 years after a survivor discovers or remembers they were abused. How does that part work?
That's right. And this is about accountability, right? Being able to hold those abusers accountable. And so as I just mentioned, sometimes people do not realize till later in life that they were actually the victims of assault. What was done to them, whether it be by a doctor or a coach or somebody in a position of authority at that time, actually was assault. And we saw that through the Larry Nassar case and other high-profile cases here in the state of Michigan. And so this gives the ability that once you realize that, yes, I was the victim of sexual assault, 7 years to come forward from that time span. And the reason that's notable is because the data is so clear that people generally do not sometimes realize that they were actually a victim till later in life. We want to make sure the criminal justice system accounts for that. And it's important to be noted they would still have to prove their case in a court of law.
Now, if these laws are passed, I understand there's also a 1-year window for sex abuse victims to file civil lawsuits as well. And there's a cap on dollar amounts, a $1.5 million cap on civil lawsuits. Is that part of this?
Yeah, that's correct. And the 1-year window, look-back window, ensures that anybody who was a victim of abuse here in the state of Michigan will have some type of recourse. We don't want somebody not to have access to the criminal justice system simply because they do not fall within these new expanded statute of limitations. We're going to give folks 1 year to come forward. And again, they still have to prove their case in a court of law. And this has been done in other states similar when they've enacted this policy, making sure it's fair and that everybody has a shot at justice that has been victimized by these abusers. And then as we go forward, I think then the new statute takes place and you'll be able to provide that justice to so many people that need it across the state.
But anybody who doesn't fit into those criteria has 1 year after this law is passed. I wanted to make that clear. This has actually passed the Michigan State Senate, your legislative body. What is the status right now? Is the House going to take these 3 bills up? Will they become law, in your opinion?
We're hopeful. We're having conversations with our counterparts in the House. There have been great advocates in the State House for policy like this over the years. A colleague of mine, Julie Brixey, has done a lot of work in the Michigan House on these exact bills. And we're hopeful that the Speaker of the House will see the impact of them. They passed with great bipartisan support in the Senate, and we think they will in the House as well. This is not an issue that is partisan in any way. I think everybody knows somebody who has been impacted in some way by sexual assault, and this does so much to give those folks a pathway to justice, to hold abusers accountable. And so I can't think of anybody that would be opposed to that. And I think we've done the work within these bills to make sure we have the support to get them done.
Michigan State Senator Kevin Hertel, thank you for taking the time. Please keep it posted on what happens in Lansing with those bills. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you as well.
All right.